Hi, Melissa Wiringi here. Welcome to episode number 5 of Wealthy Women in Progress. Now, I'm really enjoying recording this all for you. I recorded my last episode. It was on Friday that I did that, and I thought it had uploaded on Friday night, but it hadn't, and then I was out in the country, so I've only been able to upload that last night. Sorry about the delay. This one will probably get updated overnight tonight. So where am I at? So I've had a wonderful weekend. We went down to see a couple of babies. It was really good. One of my good friends, he's just had a baby, and so has my sister. So we went down and stayed with one of our friends. My baby got to swim in a pool. My daughter got to go horse riding. It was wonderful. It felt really relaxing. It was really lovely to be just out in nature and enjoying my time over the weekend with my husband. So what am I going to share today? Well, one breakthrough that I've had that I'm now conscious about is something that I used to say, and I believe there are probably really a lot of us that say this. My big thing is, so I've been doing my business online for 2 years, and there's this mixture of desire that I had up until very recently where I wanted to make money online, but I wasn't comfortable aiming really high in the wealth stakes. So I was just enough to get by, blah, blah, blah. But it was really mixed messages, because in my deep desire, all the work that I've put in, all the learning I've done has always been on wealth creation. So there's a big part of me that really desired to make that a reality. So I had some really weird subconscious stuff going on, and one thing that I used to say so much, and literally only stopped in the last couple of weeks, is money's not that important to me. Think about that. Money isn't that important. And I used to talk about that and say, my family's so important, living life is important, travel is important, I wanted to live by the beach, that was important to me, and I didn't put value on money. I used to just say money's not that important to me. I want to have a great life, but I don't need a lot of money, and that, I think, was a really huge block for me. So I was driving along this afternoon, going down to pick up a few things, and yeah, I've been listening to this audiobook. Like I said, I've been listening to it on repeat. If you've ever listened to Bob Proctor speak, he talks a lot about Think and Grow Rich, right? And that's a really, really old book on wealth, and I've read that a few times. I've always found the language in it, because it's quite an old book. It's quite hard for me to get into that headspace. It's quite long and it just seems overdone for today's generation, I guess. But one thing that he said, was when he started on his journey to wealth, he grabbed the record of this, and in his car, he would drive around with this Think and Grow Rich record playing. And he said, not a lot of people were doing that. He must have looked a bit crazy driving around with this record on his car seat, playing Think and Grow Rich to program his brain, right? And who does that? And who listens to audiobooks all day? Well, if you're doing it, you're onto something that's a success sort of skill, because that time that you're driving around and you're just taking in stuff. And if you can listen to a book like The Secret of the Millionaire Mind, which is what I'm listening to, if you're listening to that on repeat, you're going to pick up things over and over again, and new things every time you listen to it again. So it was one of the earlier chapters, which I feel like I've already listened to. A lot of those chapters I've listened to like 2 or 3 times, and I just picked a random one, and that was the thing that popped out. It was like he was talking about the importance of money, and I realized in a moment, like as I was driving down the road, I was like, oh my gosh, I used to just always say money is not that important to me. So needless to say, when you're speaking in those terms of money's not that important to me, well then the universe goes, well hey, you don't really value it, so you probably don't need a lot of it, so you can have enough. And that was how I was talking. I said, I just want enough. I don't want heaps. I wasn't thinking in this like abundant, like how I could make a difference with all this money. I wasn't thinking, how if I have wealth, then I inspire more people to have wealth and I can help people create that wealth. I hadn't thought of the ripple effect per se. All I had thought of was me and my family and my bubble, and if I have, that much, and if that means that we can do this, 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 and this, then that's okay. But it's not. So if you're like me and you've been walking around going, money's not that important to me, it might not be genuinely. It wasn't to me. I really thought, money's not important. But if you think like you want to do certain things in your life, you want to travel, you want to have a good life for your kids. Like my kids are a huge, big motivator, and me and my husband, in the last few months we've been looking at things going, we want something to leave them. We want to be able to leave a legacy for them. Those are a motivator for us. If you look at like, I love living by the beach. If you like to live on a mountain with a big view, costs money. Money's important. Like, you have to put food on your table. What kind of food do you want to put on your table? Shit, or do you want to put good food on your table? Money's important. Like, money is important. And it doesn't mean that if you value money and believe that it's important, it doesn't mean that you're any less of a person. I had some kind of weird subconscious struggle there where, my imprint was saying that, if I have money, then I'm maybe greedy. I've examined a little bit of that, and I think some of those stories I've picked up through my education, so probably from my intermediate and high school, where I've heard people talking about wealth, in terms of like greed and terms like born with a silver spoon in your mouth, and it's got that negative feeling to it. And so I think I shied away from embracing a rich girl kind of way of life. And that's not to say that all rich people want to be all flaunty, but I think in my head I'd perceive that, if you are wealthy, you're walking around flaunting it and not humble, and you might be greedy, you might be empty-hearted, you might be cold. So those are all sorts of things that led me to sort of just detach from wanting to be a wealthy human being. And that was in conflict for like a long time, because on the one hand, I'd grown up with, a lot of that financial wealth. And so I'd, seen a good way of life in that sense. I'd traveled a little bit more than probably the average person growing up. It wasn't that cheap to travel when we were young. And I think I had that lust for like travel and doing neat things with my family. And then, even when I was 18, like I was studying real estate. I wanted to be an investor. I wanted money, but then in my core, I was still like, no, but you don't want to be rich because you don't want to turn into a cold-hearted human being, or you don't want to be greedy, or you don't want... So yeah, I was in two frames, and that confusion in the universe has been horrendous. I think, I've gone like that in my life, and it hasn't steadily gone up. But I believe that it will now. I truly, truly believe. I can just feel it. Like I was walking in the shops today, and it just feels magical. Like it's like everything is just, it just feels amazing. It's like sparkles and glitter going on inside of me. So yeah, that was my breakthrough for today. If you've been using that sentence, money isn't important to me, go and find out why it is important to you, because I guarantee there's more than one reason why money is important to you. It's going to help you reach your goals. It's going to help you do more. Like, think about the poor old man standing at the checkout in front of you, and your heart goes, oh wow, if I had enough money, I'd pay for his groceries. Well, shit, now you can. If you change that way of thinking and realize that money is important to you, and you have that abundant mindset where you want wealth, you desire wealth, and it's not in an unhealthy way, you can then have the power to go to that little old 90-year-old man and say, hey, I'll just pay for your groceries today and don't worry about it. Catch you later. Have a great day. And how cool will that feel? So think about that. Money is important. It is important, and it doesn't take anything away from who you are as a human being. It doesn't make you any less of a person to desire wealth. It's so important. So go hard. Change your mindset. Money is important. If you don't believe it, start writing it down and find out reasons why money is important. Figure it out. Unlock that mindset. Start going, money's important to me because it's going to give me freedom. It's going to give me a life I desire. It's going to mean I can travel. It's going to mean I can buy my kids whatever I want. I hope you have enjoyed today. If you have, I would love it if you can like this video. If you're enjoying my content, please subscribe and share it with your friends and family, because I know that there are so many of us on this money mindset journey. I know that watching me go through this transformation like in real time will be quite cool for a lot of people. Like I said, I'm starting at zero. So, and a lot of other people are going to start at zero too, and how fun it's going to be to have people watching this along the journey, and they're going to have the same sorts of transformations. It's going to be so much fun. I'm excited, really excited. So yeah, like, subscribe, share it with everyone if you can. I'm really grateful if you do share it. It means the world to me. I'll probably like do a shout out to you and stuff, or send you a book or something. Cheers, thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. Happy Monday, and I'll be back again tomorrow or the next day. Later.